Hello, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here talking about Legion. Season 2, Episode 5, entitled Chapter 13. Unlucky 13.
Very unlucky.
Very, for a certain person in particular.
Yes.
Which we'll shout out to commenter
Yes.
Ronan7. Like 3 days ago, types in hashtag, where's David's sister?
You should be watching this guy's.
Exactly. Watch Ronan7 because he's awesome.
He's
apparently.
awesome. He knows all.
Like, it was like, yeah, what did happen to David's sister?
Yeah,
She hasn't shown up.
He mentioned the comment to me, and I was like, who cares? Good. She's gone. She wasn't that interesting in the first season.
Little did you know.
I didn't know.
There it was coming, and it showed up.
You knew, so.
Well done, Ronan.
Props on you, Ronan.
So yeah, this was the big surprise being David's sister Amy. All right, so I think this is one of the few Legion episodes that's actually somewhat easy to sum up.
Yeah, so
watch. It's going to take
get
me.
ready now. 10 minutes will be
right.
done.
It's still going to take me 15 minutes. Okay. So quick sum up. You've got the newly reborn Lenny.
Yes.
Is back at D3.
Yes.
We found that at the end of the last episode. She shows up.
Just before the credits.
Right. Okay.
Opening credits.
So, obviously, D3's like, first of all, how are you here? Second of all, you're not on our side, so
yes.
Boo. So, there's a series of interrogations. We have Clark, interrogator.
Of pointless weirdness.
That's weird. Clark interrogates her, then Tonomy interrogates her, then David. She keeps asking for David. Finally, David shows up.
That's right. Hey, he's like, here I am, baby.
The other scene, which is not a meanwhile.
No, it's not. He initially called. I caught him.
Right. Thank you, Paul. It's a different time frame.
Ha.
We're in Westworld. Actually, we kind of are in Westworld. They're in a desert. I don't know.
That's true.
Anyway,
Yeah.
there's probably a cowboy.
That's all. It's just a desert.
That's a desert in the past.
In China.
But yeah, okay. So we have Farouk and Oliver on their road trip.
Yeah.
They go into the desert. They find what we learn to be Lenny's body in a grave. They take a piece of skin. They take this device that they stole. I say they. It's pretty much Farouk, in Oliver's body. But whatever. They stole.
Yes. They.
They stole from D3 back in the it was, I forget which episode. Episode 2, I think. When they broke in, they stole this little camera-looking gun thing. And that is apparently a consciousness transference device, because they use that device and a piece of skin to eventually find David's sister, Amy. They track her husband from his job selling donuts to miners, as in people
Coal
that work
miners.
in a mine. Yeah.
Or maybe diamond miners.
Dead Sea Donuts. That's interesting. Okay. It doesn't sound lucrative, but okay.
Well, I mean, if it's a witness protection kind of thing, it's like, okay, we found you a place to live and you a job.
Oh, that's true.
So it's not like, here's a way for you to be rich. It's like, no, here's the way for you to stay alive.
Here's your submarine car. So they track him in his submarine car. Probably fairly easy to track him on an empty desert road, and he's driving a submarine. I think it was probably like that. Follow the submarine. Anyway, they track him back to his house. It's guarded, I assume, by D3 folks. And everybody dies. And Amy is transformed into Lenny using this device.
Yes.
Back at D3, David sees all this through Lenny's memories, because Lenny has some memories of Amy and some of herself.
Yeah.
And that freaks David out, obviously.
Does freak him out.
And the very ending beat is you hear Farouk laughing.
Yeah.
And then David's like, I'm coming for you.
Yep.
Chuh.
So just, to get you set up for him to break everything he's been saying he's going to do for the past number of episodes, you got to let him live. You shouldn't kill him.
Right, so we had the thing before. Remember, we brought this up a couple episodes ago, where it seemed like when Farouk and David are talking that Farouk is talking against his own self-interest.
Yes.
Where he's like, hey, if you leave me alive, you're going to ruin your girlfriend's future. She's going to commit suicide. So Sid in the future wants David to keep Farouk's body alive.
Right.
Okay. Seems like Farouk is really pushing for David to destroy him. Isn't that kind of what this thing is, where he's like taunting David?
Well,
what do you think?
He is taunting him, that's true. I don't think he knows about the prophecy of the future where he's going to get killed by David. I don't think he knows about that.
You know? Because, I mean, I thought that whole bit where he's like, your future girlfriend is trying to get you to do something that will make her
help
disappear.
Me. Help me find the body. That's what he's trying to help him do, find the body.
Okay.
Not help him, not kill him.
It's
like, right. So it's like, that's not like, oh, you're going to kill me? No, that's not the discussion they've been having. It's like, where's my body? And the, D3 or 4, whatever they are like trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Okay, so you're saying the difference between finding the body and killing the body. Okay, so that's
well, yeah, I mean, they weren't even talking about killing the body, right? They're actually talking about finding Farouk in what's his name's body. I can't remember anybody. Oliver's body, and killing him.
Right, yes, Oliver is in danger.
Yeah,
according to D3.
Right. They're like, we'll try to save him, but they'll kill whatever's there.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that he's not doing, and yet that's what the future girlfriend was telling him. That is what's going to happen.
So it is interesting. We still don't know exactly why Farouk's consciousness being, reunited with his body is such a bad thing.
And wonder if what happens in this scenario is really because you were imagining that basically the complicated thing that happens is that David turns into the threat that everybody's afraid of. But maybe that's because Farouk goes into his body again.
Right. Good point.
It takes him over, or forces him into the old body and they kill him.
Like, oh, yeah, you know what? You actually are more powerful than I am. I'll jump into your body again, David. Thanks. The "it's complicated" has come up several times, that phrase. And
it's interesting whether or not Oliver is right that he knows about the vulnerability that Farouk has.
So that's in this episode. Oliver says, he has a couple of little tete-a-tetes with Farouk about morality and stuff like that. And at one point, Oliver says, "I'm going to kill you." Yeah. And Farouk kind of laughs it off, like, "You're not. I'm more powerful than you, so duh." And Oliver's like, "Yeah, but maybe I know your weakness, and maybe at the right moment I'm going to strike." And Farouk's like, "Well, tell me what my weakness is." Oh, okay. So obviously it's like, "Yeah, I'll tell you at the moment when I'm striking, and it'll be too late to save yourself." So Farouk asks for a hint, and the hint is, "What's 1 plus 1?" Farouk says 2. And Oliver's like, "Nope.
Incorrect."
So
at the moment, you're going to tell him a math problem that he thinks he can get right, that everybody else will get right, and it'll confuse him so much that he kills him.
Yeah, he'll bore him to death with like a mathletics competition.
So it'd be interesting if I haven't attempted to look the internet over, because it seems like it's like some age-old, that problem. The problem of 1 plus 1 not equaling 2.
The Gordian
I feel
knots
like it's something that exists out there that someone could just find and figure out what it is. Either that or it's
Well, on one level, it could be. I mean, we do see a scenario where we see Oliver and we see Farouk, and it's 2 people, but 1 plus 1 does not equal 2. 1 plus 1 equals 1 individual. So maybe there's some version of that he's. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know how you use that to.
We don't have enough information
defeat
yet.
Farouk, but
yeah.
So that does lend itself to. You would think, narratively speaking, maybe Oliver is the one to take down Farouk, as opposed to David.
Sure.
Which is kind of where we thought we were on the David versus Shadow King thing, but maybe it's.
No, we're not.
Maybe it's Oliver, or maybe Oliver helps.
Maybe. Like, you get him, I'll get him. And then 2 plus 2 are equals, we're kicking your ass.
Yeah. 1 plus 1. Oh, it's gone. So Oliver is trapped, is doing Farouk's bidding, and does some pretty evil things.
He does.
In the name of
very
Farouk.
evil, and he kind of says that in point where it's like basically how he's adjusting his morals or something to be able to do what he needs to do.
Yeah, there's a thing about morality, and the fact Oliver kind of deflects the question into like, well, atoms that were once stars are now made up of this car.
Yeah.
And if that means that all life goes on in some way, does morality even mean anything? It's obscene or irrelevant. It does come about, though, Farouk's response in one of those conversations is about Homo sapiens versus Homo superior.
Yes.
Which we've heard a lot of in the X-Men movies.
Yes.
So that philosophy, lions don't have a morality for their prey.
Yeah.
So that's a common sentiment amongst, kind of the Magneto faction of the X-Men.
I mean, typically it sounds like, to me, it's sort of the carnivore vegetarian, like how some people do have, they have morality for the animals that we eat. It's like, oh, that's wrong. They don't want to eat animals. I'm not one of them. But
there's probably like a vegetarian lion out there, you're saying. That's like, you know what? I'm not killing the
well, what it argues is that,
no baby zebras today. Only veggies.
It's like basically saying, comparing yourself to an animal, like we don't, we should have the same morality as animals, when animals don't even have a language, they can't develop the term morality.
You're saying that the analogy is
suspect.
Is crappy.
Yes.
And in the middle of that
They
conversation,
used it many times before. Like I think the Watcher used it in Fantastic Four with Galactus, maybe.
Well, isn't that bit too in Avengers where Loki talks about ants and boots, right?
See? Yeah, so it's a common,
ant, meat, boot.
Yeah.
So in the middle of that, though, Oliver has images of Melanie. And whenever it's like, Homo sapiens time, they're done. And it's Oliver's tie to Homo sapiens, which goes toward confirming a theory that I was perhaps wrong on.
That it's all in his head? No, it's all
in his head. Drink. Okay. No. I was kind of waiting for Melanie to show some powers. Like, hey, here's the one person in this group of mutants that hasn't shown any powers. All right. One explanation would be she's waiting. Her power is very specific, or she's a human who fell in love with a mutant, and that's
what?
it.
What?
Okay. So this goes to that. I'll say even theory. It's probably reality, which is when he thinks about Homo sapiens and whether or not they're worth saving, he thinks about Melanie. So there you go.
There you go.
Melanie, almost certainly at this point, human.
Booyah.
That's Homo sapien.
It was somebody to think about her when they're thinking about Homo sapiens.
Yes.
That's what you needed. There you
That's
go.
what I needed.
Thank
you.
Could have had
Unless
that first
it's
season.
all in his head, which actually it was in his head, but so be it. Okay. Or unless she's pretending to be a Homo sapien and then she's actually... Okay, never mind. Okay. So the other part of this is Lenny's interrogation scenes. So you got Clark,
yes,
Autonomy, David.
Yes.
Clark, he keeps calm, casual.
I guess. Yeah.
He does a blood test.
Yeah, that made sense. The blood test made sense.
Oh, there's something that didn't make sense is the upside down room.
Yeah, that's what. What the heck? Why? Why? What?
Not only did it appear to be upside down, it seemed like it was in fact upside down.
Yeah.
Like the window was showing the city, but it was on the floor, so there was space between them. Okay. I'm not sure what that one was, and I think even Lenny even mentions like, well,
defying gravity or whatever.
I did like this though, and I don't know. I think this was intentional. So on the wall, upside down because they're flipped over, it says like, avoid all physical contact. Every person, Clark, Autonomy, and David all make physical contact with Lenny. All three of them grab her hand, touch her head. So it's just funny. Like there's just huge. That statement's there the entire time. Don't make contact. All right. Anyway, what's going on? I mean, she, being Lenny, confides in Clark that she thinks Farouk has found his body in the desert. Now, what we find at the end of the scene, or the end of the episode, she's like, actually, I must not have been his body.
No.
It meant my body.
Yes.
That was, and she has all these memories of her grand and the sodas and stuff like that, which we guess are true.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to fake when Tommy's in her head, and
yeah. So that was interesting. So Tommy goes into her head. He sees first a memory from Lenny. He sees the soda bit with the grandma.
Right.
And then it cuts to, I think it's the flowers dropping, which was, an as we find out, an Amy memory of her death, right, when she's holding the sunflowers. So he's seeing Amy's memories chopped up with Lenny's. And he's, I don't know if that's the reason why he gets thrown off or whatever, but then he has the image of the little oil slick chickadee
creature,
crawling into his brain, and then he sees the basket head dude, but the basket head dude's inside the basket head is oil slick chicken. And so I actually went back and paused this because there were some subliminal messages.
So they're looking at it right now.
You're looking at it right now. Maybe not. Oh God, did I actually take a screen? I did it for myself. Okay. Anyway, I'm telling you in pictures. Okay.
It's too late. Too late for you to take a picture
no way
now.
I could
Darn
possibly go back now.
Shoot.
So Tommy, when he's looking at the basket head lit up guy, and there's these little subliminal messages. They come up. What those are moments of him choking Lenny. Because when he comes out of it, he's choking Lenny in the corner of the room. So I think the idea is that's happening while he's having this vision, and his brain is giving him little tidbits of like, hey, by the way, in the real world, you're killing someone. You might want to wake up. So that's what that was. I had to slow it down. So yeah, he has a whole thing about past and future and present. Just the fact that the time the present takes to reach your eye and get translated by your brain means it's now in the past.
There's no present ever.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. I would say that, interestingly, I mean, that would be the first time ever probably that Tommy has gotten a memory test wrong, which is kind of fun. What color are my eyes? Brown. Nope. Like, what? So
he was like, they were brown.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So we can take from that I guess he just wasn't being that observant in the present, like because her eyes were blue the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Or was he somehow confused? I don't know. Anyway, so I think it was just that he wasn't looking at her
that way
in the present,
right?
So he didn't take it in.
I mean, I thought you were going to go into some sort of speculation about his power.
Oh. We could.
No. Obviously, it was convenient. I mean, it's like you'd think that he would have a better recall of it, but it works in terms of the scene to see, like, no, okay, that's another weird thing that your eyes used to be brown, but now they're blue.
Right, and it's good for the audience too because we're playing along in that moment. Like, were they brown? They were brown, weren't they? Kind of thing. So that was
I wasn't doing that. I was like, I trust these people. I was let them decide whose eyes were brown or blue.
We did have another John Hamm interlude about coincidence versus conspiracy.
Oh yeah. That was nice. So it was like all these people who believe in conspiracy. It's nice to have it spelled out why they might believe in conspiracy.
Your brain looks for patterns. When it finds patterns, it tries to interpret them, even if that pattern is a coincidence. And so, how do we translate that to the story?
Yeah.
Is there a coincidence that's happened that people are assuming is a conspiracy? Lenny showing up. Maybe they're like, Lenny has to be in on this, even though Lenny may not, in fact, be in on it.
I hadn't thought of
that. That's kind of where I went with it, because they're convinced that Lenny is working for the Shadow King, and she's like, well, I'm not working for the Shadow King, but I don't know what I didn't. I just showed up here. So I think she's the coincidence, and it's that by putting her in Amy's body, she is the message. The message is sent through her arrival. She didn't have to. It's like, yeah, they'll figure it out because I am sure Shadow King's like they're going to go into her mind. They're going to try to figure out her past. They're not going to trust her. And so when they go into her mind, they're going to see Amy dying.
Right.
And that'll be David seeing his sister dying.
Sure.
Screw you, David, basically. Which, it is a pretty horrific scene.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
It's like, and it starts with the thing where her husband's like, what's that word? When you think something horrible is about to happen, but it hadn't happened yet. I thought he was going with premonition, but and he's like, dread.
Ah, yes.
And as soon as he says dread,
Judge Dredd shows up. No.
Judge Dredd shows up, and no, but they have this. Their house is next to this big windmill.
Yes.
And the windmill stops, and then she looks outside, and all the guards are gone.
Yeah.
Then hubby goes to the door because there's a knock on the door, and he's a little pile of ash. And then it's Oliver washing his hands, getting ready for surgery, basically. And she is tortured to death. We'll say death.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got little bits of memory.
If she ends up surviving, I won't be unhappy. But it just seems like a good way to kill her.
Now, they did show, I think in the trailer for the next week, we do see some flashbacks.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a question I had. And for you, the audience, as well. Because I'm not sure that Paul's going to know this either.
No,
know the
probably
answer.
not. You know me.
I was a little confused on the imagery. Okay. Obviously, Amy, they do the little gun thing, and they put Lenny, and her bones break, and she transforms into Lenny. Okay, so that's Lenny on the table.
Yep.
Naked Lenny.
Naked Lenny.
We then also have a shot of Lenny emerging naked from her grave in the middle of the desert.
Sure.
And getting on a horse, slumped over the horse, and the horse is walking around.
Yep.
Are those two different people? Are there two Lennys right now? Like at the time when Lenny woke up in Amy's house, did a version of her also wake up in her body back in the desert? That body wasn't rotten anymore. I'll say that. It wasn't like she was like a zombie corpse.
Yeah, that's true.
So in other words, was it metaphorical? Was it just like, oh, I was brought back to life and this is our version of that? Or is it, were there two, or did, as you maybe mentioned, maybe they brought her back to life on Amy's table, then took her back into the desert, put her into the grave, and let her come out on her own? Maybe. I don't know. So what do you guys think? What do you
think, though? What do you think?
I do not know the answer to that.
No, it's a mystery.
It would be odd if there's two Lennys.
I agree.
I think maybe unnecessarily odd.
Because right now, we know that Oliver's running around with Farouk inside of him. So, they could have done a similar thing where Lenny is running around in David's sister, but they chose not to do that. Well, they chose to do it in a different way, is what we believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but a different way. So, why then have two?
Right.
Who's inside of the other Lenny? You wouldn't need to have Farouk inside the other Lenny because he was already in Oliver. Is Oliver free? No, we don't believe that.
And the fact that there's a part of Amy still in Lenny's body means that it's not like a one-to-one rate. It wasn't a flip. They didn't flip. It wasn't like Amy's entire consciousness went into other body or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure that we'll find this out.
Oh, yes.
And more in future episodes of Legion. Any other tidbits? Any thoughts, good sir?
I liked autonomy going through her mind. And when David met with Lenny, he's like, look, I can read your mind. I know that,
Yeah, don't lie.
Don't lie. It's like, okay, yes, fine. I was very amused by not amused, but, how she's like, I'm not a bad person.
They keep listing off all of her crimes.
Yeah, like, hey, that's not that bad.
There's bad and there's bad. Yeah, right. She's got the shade of gray thing.
And she's not explicit, but, obviously the implication is when she was 9, her grandmother let her drink alcohol.
Yes.
So, that set her up to be, an addict or whatever.
Yeah, she definitely put herself as a victim.
Yeah.
Because she's also saying, Shadow King screwed me over.
Yeah.
All these people in my life screwed me over.
Yeah.
I'm the victim here.
I don't know. I mean, certainly comes off in that way. It's very consistent with an addict who is really not accepting responsibility. And it's like, yes, she was abused as a child, and as an adult, then she wasn't attempting to, change her life in any positive way. She's willing to take advantage of others in order to get what she needs.
She's named for her grand, Lenore.
Yes.
That's her grandmother's name. All right, here's one thing
I'm sorry, but I want to go back to the whole, like, why the weirdness? Why does he hold up a card with his face on, prison?
He held up the blank card first.
Right, and then he holds up the one with him holding up a card, holding up a card. It's like, why?
What it felt like to me, it felt like the Blade Runner, the test to tell if someone's a robot or not. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of what it was sensing, because he's having her say her name.
It's interesting, I guess, but sometimes it just feels like they're doing it just so that you like, isn't this show weird?
Right, we're upside down. So there was another bit that I just thought of as we were talking here that was a little puzzling to me. It involved Amy. Amy, before she's killed off,
yes,
recounts a dream she had.
Oh, yeah.
She dreamed that she was one of the mustache machine women.
Oh. You know what? She was talking about it. I was just sort of like, what the hell is she I did not. No, I did not.
Yeah, no. She quoted a line from earlier in the season.
Oh, wow. No, I was just like, what is she talking about?
We're the organizing principle. And in the sing-songy voice, they talk with, the organizing principle. So, and she talked about basket head, like, the basket was upside down. And so she's talking about being in the presence of basket head guy as mustache computer.
Woman.
So I don't know.
Now I wonder if she's one of them. That at some point they'll reveal that, she was one of the mustache women.
Well, that's true. Now, we don't know how she got into the desert. I mean, we theorize without knowing that D3 decided, you are you'd be under threat.
Sure.
Shadow King probably would like to get his hands on you to influence David. So we're going to put you in this witness relocation program, Freudian slip. And so they put her out in the desert and put guards around her. I assume she wasn't in prison.
Right.
She was like being guarded for her safety.
Yeah. Witness protection.
So maybe somehow in connection with that, did they use her consciousness as well at D3? She had some time at D3 apparently, where it wasn't like they were trying to kidnap her. If they put her in witness relocation.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So she had some contact with him, is my point.
What about her conscious? What are you talking about?
I don't know, because if she's part of the machine, I don't know how did they take her brain somehow and put her? Is she one of the test cases for the? Or is it just she has some powers? Did she have some powers that she? I don't know why she would have powers necessarily, because she's not actually related to David.
All right, yeah, I assumed all this time that her dream, if it is, well, I shouldn't say all this time, because I didn't realize that she was dreaming about the women and I'm useless. Anyway, no, I didn't realize that. But, I mean, I would assume from that it's a premonition, right? Typically dreams...
They talked about dread, that same scene, about they were talking
about...
Right,
so something bad that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? So, potentially, I would assume then that she's going to come back in one of these women or whatever. That's maybe how she'll be saved, or that. Not that she was one. Okay. Is that what you're suggesting?
Or maybe this. Maybe I just thought of this. I'm thinking as we talk here. Maybe David somehow had a psychic link to her, and as he witnessed those events, somehow he translated it to her or something.
I guess. Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be weird. And then but maybe that's how we're able to experience the events of next week, is through some sort of But that was one of the tragic things about David in the first season, is that even though we would see snatches of his life before the series began, he had a number of the facts wrong. So...
Oh, and in fact, to that point, if you listen to the beginning of this episode, instead of previously on, John Hamm says, apparently on. And so they threw out this whole idea of like, is it real? Or
all in
Is
his
it
head?
all in his head?
Oh, see, now you might need to call an ambulance
Yeah,
for all the alcohol you've been drinking
All right, yeah.
this episode.
Drink? Okay. So yeah, the apparently on was interesting. So it was kind of to your point. It's the unreliable narrator thing of like, I don't know, was that real? Was
Yeah. So,
we
So I
see
don't know.
David does have a memory. One of the things when he's searching Lenny, the memory of the birthday party when Amy had the sparklers and like, happy birthday, dear David. So that was one of the keys that let him know that Lenny is actually his sister in some weird way. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's devastated. Amy is apparently dead, or alive in some tiny facet of Lenny's brain, and David is now, I'm going to kill you, jerk.
yeah.
I also did like the imagery of the Shadow King being in this really well lit desert place was also kind of interesting too. It's like he keeps talking about the sun and everything, and it's like, you're the Shadow King. Right. Anyway, so there we go.
There we go.
Episode.
There we go.
We're going to talk about Westworld next week.
Yes.
And Legion again.
Legion
Come on
again.
back. Subscribe if you want to get notifications on said things. Make comments. Please let us know.
Yes.
2 Lennys? 2? 3?
3?
18
Ooh,
Lennys?
What's going on?
Are there 6 Bernards? Oh, no, okay. Anyway, sorry, wrong show. Damn it. So yeah. Anyway, thank you everybody, and bye bye.
Bye-bye.